After setting up some temporary living space, we began with farming trees to get apples and a renewable source of wood. Our first task was following the emergency procedures in our journal. This allowed us to reconnect to our civilization in the digital realm of the Nexus. They provided us with what we needed to reactivate the simulation matrix. This recreated a simulated farmland that retained the nutrients needed to grow crops. Using the crop sticks from IC2, we were able to breed crops until we were able to grow stickweed and harvest rubber. This allowed us to create our first hazmat suit. Our hazmat suit made it possible for us to leave the shielding of the seed vault. Our first stop was the old radio towers. We were able to harvest iron and redstone. Now that we have some basic tech, it's time for us to venture further and collect more resources. This will allow us to advance even further in our goals to restore all that we have lost. Hello everybody and welcome back to FTB Genesis. This is episode 3 and we are here in the seed vault again. I have done a bunch of work in between episodes to just kind of get some things prepared. I don't like to advance the tech in the quest book at all in between episodes, but doing some of the grindy stuff like collecting resources, I do so that we do not have to sit through that. So in here we had more storage shelves with beehives and storage boxes on them. I've taken them all out, so now we have a nice wide open space to work. I did that all the way through the entire seed vault and collected everything back at our house there. After that, I came into the simulation matrix. With the iron we got from our radio towers, I was able to make buckets, which meant I could move the water to create an infinite source. And so I collected up all the farmland we had, and then I put it in a little more organized way. And then I started watching a movie, and I kept working on it. And before you know it, I had gone kind of crazy and built it all the way up to the ceiling. So there's layer upon layer of farmland. I doubt we're ever going to use even that much, but it was nice to have that much available to us. So right now I have different crops here that I am breeding up, and I'm going to show you real quick how that works. We have the crop sticks that go in between here. I am able to breed from this hemp plant across. Now when we take our analyzer, if you take the seeds that we got from that and you run them through, you have to run them through 3 times to get all the data. Then you can see the stats for them. And we'll do the same with this birch sapling that we got. And you can see that we have these stats here. I've been doing that with all the crops we have and just working on getting different ones at different levels. And the goal is to get all of our crops to the point where they're all at the max level. So far, the ones that I have finished are in here. So I have all these different ones. I have all the way up to stats 31, 31, 31. The resistance doesn't matter as much here. It's actually better to not have such high resistance because it just slows down our growth. But resistance prevents weeds from spreading, but we have weeds disabled in this pack. So it's not super important to have that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this one off and I'm going to take this one off because we have hemp seeds that now have better stats than that. We're going to put them here and here. And then we're also going to take these 2 off. And we'll let that one grow to see what it is. And this one here. But the goal is we want to crossbreed from this one to this one to get a slightly better stats. And we can also do that with these here. I was growing all of these just to get more of these to crossbreed with. But now that we have a better one, what I'm going to do is all these ones that have lower stats, these are all 555s, even though I haven't analyzed them. I just turn them into bone meal. So you just keep doing that process until you get to the point where you have them all at a maximum level. And I'm going to put these, the ones that we're still working on, in here. I need to collect all the seeds from over there and bring them over and keep working on that. It's a slow process, but we're getting it done. I also used that iron that we got to create a faucet so I could set this up. So this is just a repeat of the one in the other room. I have a stair that's waterlogged so that there's a water source behind it. The faucet puts water out. I made a new jar using sand that we got from the repeatable quest in the synthetic acquisitions chapter. This chapter is all about different things we can request from the Nexa by sending them power and items. So for example, if we want more sand, we just send them 16,000 power and they'll send us sand. And if we want to recharge our crop analyzer, we just throw in enough power and then we send them our uncharged crop analyzer and they give us a new one. Pretty nice system for how to get things recharged early game like this. So we're set up in here. We have everything we need. The other thing I did in between episodes is that I went outside and I ventured out to do a little bit of work outside of the seed vault. And so I'm going to go up there quickly and show you that. So outside you can see that there's a significant area out here that has been dug up a little bit. I just collected resources around the entrance here. I did make a bed that's up on a platform because there's a bunch of mobs that are still spawning right under the surface because of that cave there. So up here I'm able to sleep because I'm at least 8 blocks away from them. And then I made this here. So I made another fountain out here that has a waterlogged stair with another faucet and water. That means wherever we are, we can grab some fresh water and get ourselves some resources. And then I have storage down here for the different things I've collected. I got some gravel from underground, some cobblestone, dried salt, which I've been turning into dirt, moss, more dirt, some plants, and then some barrels just to add to our storage. So basically I've just been taking layer after layer off, and then I take the dried salt, and over here there used to be a riverbed. I used the water to turn all that dried salt into dirt, and then I dug it back up. I wouldn't have had to use all the water in there. I could have just used a flowing water source and done it that way, but I thought it was kind of fun to remove that riverbed across that way. But now we have tons of resources to get started with building. The next thing we're going to do is we want to get to our next tier of tech, which means heading out from here over to this area over here where we're going to be doing some work collecting copper and collecting our radio tower that is over there. So we're going to do that next, and then we will be able to move on to the next part of our quest book. So I had a little bit of problem with some audio. Still haven't quite got my recording studio set up. I have to move 100%. So I did record a clip of me doing a bunch of work in the city, collecting the copper from this building and collecting some more iron and just exploring the city a little bit. But the audio was terrible. So I just did a little fast run through here quick while I do a voiceover, and then we'll go do a little bit more exploration in the city together. So the city is just comprised of all these different buildings. A lot of them have iron in them. There are a few things that were interesting. We found some bookshelves and things like that. I did find an anvil. I do have to be careful because there's a lot of mobs in the dark places around. So I have to make sure I can sleep and get it done that way. So I have built this little area here inside of our copper room. We have a bed in here so we can set our spawn. We have water in here, just like I set up on the other side, where I have a waterlogged stair that provides constant flow of water into our jar here, and we can get all the water we need. And I have a little bit of tools and bread that I brought with me. So we're just going to go in here and check some things out, collect some different resources. I had collected some of the bricks here. I'm still working on collecting those because I might want to build with some of those. And then I'm going to do the same with this black stone here in this building. But I've already explored this building and that one and that one. And this one a little bit. I think I still need to go down here. Let me take a look around. There's different places where there's some treasure chests that didn't have a whole lot in. Just some various miscellaneous items all over the place. And then the only place that was really, really interesting, I think it's in this building. I think I stopped because I was running low on torches. I grabbed a few more. Yeah, down here there's a lot of mobs spawning because of how dark it is. And if we go up in here, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through here without getting these creepers blowing up on me. Yep, they blew up. Knew they would. Let's just get in here, light some stuff up so that we can do it. The skeleton is going to pose a problem for us. Mobs don't seem to do too much damage with my hazmat suit on, but there are a lot of them, so sometimes that is the problem. These skeletons are crazy fast, and so I have to be careful that I don't get swamped and completely taken out by them. There we go. So let's get these bricks. We're going to just build our way back up. Go. And so you can see now that it's nighttime and it's gotten dark, there are mobs everywhere. So we have to be really careful when we're in here so that we're not getting too many. In some of the buildings, I'm not sure which one it was in. I think it might have been this one over here. There was some spawners in the basement. That's what I'm trying to get to show you. Is this the same one I just came out of? No, it doesn't look like it. It's a different one. Yeah, here it is. So there's some spawners back here. Like I said, the chests don't really have a lot of loot in them. I have just been grabbing them. But this spawner here is a skeleton one, and so is this one. So I thought I would just kind of remember this is here, because if we have a point where we need to get some experience, we can probably set up an experience farm around those skeletons pretty easily to get a decent amount for us at this early game stage. So I'm not going to collect too many more resources around here. I'm just going through to show you some of the area. There's lots of iron bars around if we need to get a little bit more iron. Up on the roofs there are antennas that do the same, and there's still more buildings to explore, but they're full of mobs. So I think I'm pretty much just going to grab a few more resources here, head back to spawn, and we're going to work on the next section of our quest book now that we have all the tech that we need to do that. What we need to work on is underneath the dangerous path. We've now finished the copper section, which got us some more stuff. So we have one more step before we can do the Simulated Inferno, and that's to do the fiery realm. So we're going to need to build a fire extinguisher, and then we're going to be able to jump into the Simulated Inferno, which is a simulation training that the Nexa provides to get us ready for the Nether before we head into there to get more resources. The next tier of unlocking all the different resources we need, like growing crops that can give us iron and other resources like that, involve us going into the Nether and getting a few things. So we're going to head back home, we're going to get set up, and we'll get working on that right away. Back at the base, and for the most part, I have finished sorting out all of our materials. I have different labeled sections here for all the different stuff, like our beehives and our cobblestone, and then our wood materials, and then some other building blocks over here. In here, I kind of have things organized a little bit, but it's still kind of chaos. This is all my different quartz blocks, and then I have some miscellaneous stuff here that I still need to sort. And then in here is like our ores and gems that we have collected, and then some more storage for later on, that kind of stuff. So we're ready to proceed with our quest line. So to do the fiery realm, this just explains that we have a simulation that we're going to go into first to get prepared for the actually opening the portal. And to start with that, we need to get a fire extinguisher. So we have access to everything we need for that, so I've collected it, and we're going to make that, which is going to let us finish this quest, give us another fire hazard sign, which I think I have one in here already. Oh, I have a fire hazard sign, and I have a radioactive hazard sign. The next part of this quest is to actually go in and load up the simulation. So the first thing we need to do before we do that is that we currently have the Simulated Farmland loaded, and so we have to unload it. And it's a really simple process, but we don't want to forget to do it, because otherwise the quest won't work. It will be a waste of power. So right now we have a simulation matrix in there. We have our farmland drive here, so we just put it back in and then press the button. You notice everything in here disappears. It's now just empty space, and the farmland has been stored inside here. If we were to put it back in and load it back up, we would get it right back in place. So we're going to store it, and we're going to put it in this cabinet for its drive storage. So it's labeled farmland, so we know that's the right one. Now we can go into our quest line and see that we need to do the power of the simulation quest. So the power of the simulation quest we do at the task screen, and we need to send some power. Fortunately, because I set up the battery box, it's just a matter of transferring the power in, because I already have some power stored. So what we do is we come in here, we select task, we go to power the simulation, we turn that on, and we just wait for the power to get flowing in there so that it can finish the quest in the quest book. Now, other quests that we have finished, that we've already sent the power in, we can still use those because this is already done. So now if I were to need to do a crop analyzer, we could do this. And if I need to get more after that, I need to switch the task back. So it's just a matter of once you're finished getting the power for the task powered up, then you're done and you're ready to go and you can switch the task. But if you do it in between, then you just have to keep going back to add more power later. So I have activated the simulation, which gave us a new spatial storage cell. You can see that inside we have some nether stuff to deal with. Before we do any of that, I'm going to put this drive in and I'm going to store it, which means this is empty again. And now we can take this drive and we can change the name of this to Simulated Inferno. So now this drive, when we put it in, we'll be able to load that up. There are a couple of things to note about this quest for those of you that are playing along. It is really important that you make sure that you don't have the farmland simulation loaded when you complete this quest, because it's trying to load the area in and it won't complete. I don't know what would happen if you didn't. I think you probably just have to unload the other simulation and try it again, but it may lose some power. It may also cause some problems with the quest. So just make sure you unload the farmland before you do it. Also says that finishing this quest will open up new ones under selective breeding. So I want to take a look at that before we go in. So in selective breeding, we were waiting to get to netherwort, which means in the nether simulation, you can find flora from the alien dimension we preserved. This strange relative of fungus is known as netherwort and has many amazing properties not found in the flora of our world. By harvesting some and bringing it back to our world to breed in the new atmosphere, we believe you can enhance these qualities. So basically, that's one of the things that we're going into this simulation to get. We want to get netherwort so that we can use it to do some breeding in our farmland. So if we look and continue along here, that will lead us into getting into terrawort, which is also some other different seeds that we can get from that. And then there's an optional quest line of enhanced farming to we can unlock a new spatial storage cell to do some more advanced farming. So we definitely want to get through to do that at some point. There's also some other things we need to do with the netherwort. We can follow this quest line to get to red wheat, which is a way for us to get redstone, and blue wheat to get lapis, and also we can get into the pharaoh seeds, which will allow us to start growing some iron byproduct. There's glowing mushrooms. We already actually have some of these, which allows us to get glowstone. We can get crimson fungus to get wood from the nether, and we can also get the regular mushrooms to unlock different recipes and things that we can do. So that's all stuff we can do to finish out in the selective breeding path. And in the dangerous path quest line that we started, we want to do the living magma, which is to kill a magma cube. We also want to kill a blaze to finish this quest, which will unlock the brewing stand and get it to the point where we can make potions of fire resistance, which will be really helpful once we go to activate the portal and go into the actual nether, which will be, our goal is to get done to the point where we can do that in the next episode. We also have this thing about the enchanting table, which if you read through here, it says that there are many of these archaic devices still exist out in the world. So I'm assuming there's an enchanting table somewhere out in the city that I need to look for if I want to get into doing enchanting. So that's definitely something we want to do. Getting set up to get to the portal is also something we want to do. So we're going to work on all those different things at the same time as we go into this nether simulation. While this simulation is just a simulation of the nether, it's still going to have a lot of dangers that we're going to face. So I have done a little preparation. I made some extra food. I have the fire extinguisher that we crafted that we can use to put out some fires. We also, I brought all the water bottles we had, plus I filled a jar. It has 12 extra bottles in it. So when our bottles are empty, I can place that down and hopefully get more water out of it. I'm not sure how that works in the nether. We'll see. I'm also not sure if the simulation will completely simulate that, but I think that this will at least show us what the heat problems and thirst problems will be in the nether. I still have our regular hazmat gear on. I think that'll be the best protection we have right now for going in there. We can also have the option to make iron armor, but I'm hesitant to use that much of our iron to do it because we don't have a renewable source just yet. So I'm going to activate the simulation. We're going to head in, and we're going to keep in mind that different crops and things like that are things that we definitely want to get. And we're definitely going to have some like spawners in here probably for different things. So we want to just be careful as we go. We can see right away there's some nether wart here. So I'm going to grab a bunch of this. And I'm also going to grab some of the soul sand. I do have a little bit of that, but I want to have this for us growing nether wart out in the real world. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to grow it in the normal way that we do, or if we'll have to do some different things with IC2. But we have this in here. Oh, it looks like there's a lot of storage in here. Oh, these chests can't open because they don't think these are probably just decorative. Oh, there's definitely a spawner right there that I almost didn't see. That is magma cube spawner. More storage in here. So we'll see about getting that set up to get a magma cube, because we do need to do that. Light this up a little bit as we go. There is an actual portal in here, so I guess that's how we're going to get to the nether when we decide to go in there. I'm not quite ready for that yet. And in here, we have the blaze spawner. So looks like this is where we're going to get our blaze. Just checking to see if any of these barrels have anything in them. Doesn't look like it. They do. Looks like they're more decorative. There's also some soul soil in here, I think. So we might want to collect some of that. I'm just kind of taking note of all the things we have without taking them just yet. And then let's come over here. There's more nether wart around. Is there an entry into this tower? Don't see a door. May have to just break our way into it. Unless I missed something. Let's look again. Definitely hear skeletons. I wonder if they're inside there. Let's just poke our head in. Yeah, it looks like that's probably what's in here. There's some mosquitoes of some kind. But then there's skeletons in there. I think that's what that spawner is. I didn't bring enough torches. That was a mistake. But we'll leave that closed up for now. It's probably why they don't have a door. They don't want it to have skeletons spawning all over us. So we're going to be careful with that. In here, oh, there's a blaze. That's what I was hoping for. All right, we were able to take him out. Interesting. I don't know how this thing works quite yet. Okay, so I got a couple of blaze rods. Let's get out of here and leave that. And then let's see. So does this... Okay, so it looks like this is used for putting out fire in like a larger scale area around. Okay, so we got the blaze. Let's see if we can't get in here and get magma cube taken down. Where is that door? Is it on this side? Is that not the room? Oh no, it's this one. Okay, so that's probably another skeletal tower. Okay, good to know. I want to see that this spawns, but there's not a lot of space in here for them to spawn. I wonder if I take down some of these beds and make a little more space in here, if we can get one of them to spawn in. Sure did. The medium ones are actually the ones that are most dangerous, because the big ones I can kind of trap around, but the medium ones are a little more difficult for me to handle. Okay, we did get him down. I don't think we got a magma cream from him. Let's see if that finished out our quest. It did. So that counted there. So we can take the magma cream from that. We can get blaze powder from here. Brewing stand. I actually have a brewing stand back home, but now we can craft more. Let's head out of here for now and just get back and kind of evaluate where we are with everything and what we've learned. We've grabbed most of the things that we wanted for the quest line. I think I got confused around here. Where is the entrance? Thought it was right. Oh, here it is. Okay, good. And then we're going to unload that simulation. Oh, we have to actually switch the drive before we can unload it. I just don't want any of those scary mobs in there coming out at it. So now we have the Simulated Inferno. We can put it down there. Let's go back and we'll put away all of our goodies and we'll determine what we still need to do to finish out this quest line. I've decided to make a little area for our brewing. So I put down some soul sand in this little room inside of our house. And you can see the nether wart is growing in here. So we have a renewable source of nether wart right inside here. We can also use the nether wart with our IC2 crop sticks to make more advanced versions to get more of it, which we will do at some point. But for now, it's nice to just have a small amount growing, so when we need to make potions, we can. I put down a brewing stand. The brewing stand we actually got from the city, so did not have to craft one, but we did that. And our goal is to make a potion of fire resistance. So to do a potion of fire resistance, you need to put some blaze powder in to power it up. We need to put in the 3 bottles of water. I set up a little in-house water system in here, which is also nice for us to be able to grab water to drink without having to run off over to the agricultural district. But we can use this just to make water bottles for the brewing stand as well. In here, first we're going to put a piece of nether wart, and when that brews, it's going to turn the water bottles into awkward potions, which is the first step in this process. So that takes just a few seconds for it to brew, and you get 3 each time you do it. And once it's done, we're going to take a magma cream and we're going to put that into our brewing stand as well. The magma cream is what's used to make actual potions of fire resistance. So, well, if you have an awkward potion in here and you have blaze powder powering it up and you put in a magma cream, after the time has elapsed, we will get these 3 awkward potions to turn into fire resistance potions. So those last for 3 minutes. Once we add a redstone to them, adding redstone to any potion will increase its level. So it'll be, instead of a potion of fire resistance 1, it'll be a potion of fire resistance 2. What that means is that it will last for 8 minutes instead of 3 minutes. So it's worth the time to do it if you have the redstone, and soon we will have some renewable redstone, which will help. So I guess it doesn't change the strength of it, it just changes the duration of it. I had that backwards in my head. But so now we have the ability to make these potions of fire resistance. The potions of fire resistance are going to be really paramount when we actually go into the nether, because we're going to be in there for a long time. We want to make sure we have what we need in order to be able to survive in there sustainably. And that's what we're going to focus on during the next episode. So now that we have the potions of fire resistance and we go ahead and we take them out, that will complete this quest, which gives us an Unbreaking 5 book and Crimson Fungus seeds for us to use in our farmland. We also want to do this last step, which is to activate the portal. So let's go over there. I want to grab some charcoal. I'm just going to take some out of here. I want to repower my system over there. We're continuing to smelt up our iron bars as we go. But let's go over to the task screen, and we're going to set up this last task before we finish out today's mission. And that is to do the activate the portal task here. So when we go in here, we select task. We now have activate the portal, and we set that as the active task. You can see it's starting to power up. I'm going to throw this extra charcoal in here so we can get our battery box powered back up some. I don't know if it'll be enough to fill it, but it should be. It should give us plenty more. This isn't going to take too long to finish, and then that will finish out this quest line, which allows us to go into doing this section here, which means that we have gotten this part done. It also means that, oops, I'm in the wrong quest line. It also means that we'll be able to do the visit the Netherrealm quest line. So that'll unlock the next 2 quest lines for us. Inside the Simulated Inferno, the portal is there. We'll be able to go through it, actually go into the Nether, get a lot more resources. I imagine it's also going to be a lot more dangerous. So we're going to want to be careful. And we also have a lot of tech that we can use that we've gotten from what we have done so far. So we might spend some time collecting some more resources, growing some more things. We can work on the selective breeding quest line. So it might be prudent for us to do that before we actually go into the nether. So I'm going to give that some thought and we'll decide which path we want to take. But we've opened up several new paths. We've finished the dangerous path. Selective breeding, the second half is now open. Like I said, this part will open up the visit the Nether Realm quest line, which is, I think down in, that's here. So it's under thermal extraction. So in the Nether Realm, we're going to be able to go in and collect different ores, which will unlock all these, which will allow us to make different things. We'll also be doing things with the natives to be able to get things like ender pearls and wither skeleton skulls, which will unlock even further things. So the question is, do we want to work on selective breeding in here first, or do we want to go to the Nether Realm? I'm probably going to work on the selective breeding, play it safe, and get some more things built up. But leave me a comment on what you think it would be the best path for us to take. And then we'll do that in the next episode after we have made that decision. So I hope you enjoyed watching this episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.